Alright, just want to clear up some of my terminology before we start. You're going to hear me say the clipper is closed, meaning the lever is all the way up. It's cutting at its shortest. You're going to hear me say open, meaning the lever is all the way down, giving it an extra 0.5 length. And you're going to hear me say middle, meaning the lever is in the middle. Collectively as a whole, those three steps I'm going to refer to as the motions. Lastly, you're going to hear me say lever play. What lever play is basically just playing with the lever, doing whatever it takes between open and close to blend any lines out. Alright, let's get right into it, guys. First thing I do with a curly hair client, I pick out his hair so that it's straight, so when I cut it, it is cut. Right, we got the 2 guard on now. My boy AK giving y'all that slick wink. Pay attention to the range of motion in my wrist. Right now we are setting the base to our haircut, which is the longest length that our fade is going to blend into. I slow it down for you guys there. You could see as I do my clipper strokes, I'm following his head as if there was an imaginary extension to his head. Right, now that we got our base, we got no guard on, closed, and we're gonna set our first guideline. He didn't want hooks, so I took it up to the bottom of his box, a little bit of a higher fade. I slow it down for you here. You can see the range of motion when I'm setting a guideline is not that big as compared to when I had that 2 guard on, right, blending to the top. Alright, second guideline, we just open up the clipper. Same thing, we go about ½ an inch up, just so we can start blending into our guards. This is a transition level into our guards, the open. Alright. After you set that guideline, you're going to leave a line between closed and open. And to take out this line, we are going to use lever play, no guard. When blending, you want to use your corners. When setting guidelines, you want to use your full blade. So corners, I would consider like 3 teeth of the clipper. Here we got the 1 guard on, and we are just lighting up our number 2 base that we set first thing in the haircut. With the 1 and the 0 guards, for the purple guards, you just want to go through the motions, man. Like lever play, we go open, middle, close, and we just keep lighting out, fading down. Just slowly working out that prominent line in there until it's gone. So just pay attention to my strokes and my range of motion. So I'm blending, so my range of motion is wider than it would be if I was setting a guideline, right? And I'm going at this cut in all kinds of directions, because with nappy hair, that's what you gotta do to get it cut down. 1 stroke going through is not always gonna get it. Here we are going in with the 0 guard, and same thing, guys. Like literally, it's the same steps all over again with a different lower guard. And we're just going to keep lighting up that line, lever play, open, middle, close. And we're just going to keep working at that line, all kinds of directions, until it starts to fade out. The main thing is that you know where you set your guidelines and you don't go past that. And here we are going with the grain open with that 0 guard. And what that's going to do is going to lay the top hairs down into our fade. And here we got no guard on, and I'm just doing some lever play, knocking out some lines that I might have missed. You know, just smoothing out that blend into the guards, transition into the guards. So the last time we got to take out is that big bulk at the top of his head. What I just did is I picked out his hair, and now we are freehanding. With freehanding, it helps me personally to blend my fade into the top of his head. Helps me debulk, and while still like maintaining the shape, which I prioritize in every haircut. With nappy hair, you always want to constantly brush it down. I just brushed it down there. I saw some bulk around his corner, and I went back at it with the number 2. And here we got the 1 guard on, and I'm just going to take it with the grain, just clean up that bulk, and finish off that fade. Got it nice and smooth, you know? Alright, we're coming in with the liners. And first thing I'm gonna do, I'm just bald them out real quick. Go over that 000 that we went closed, and it just blends right in. And then we're just gonna line up this back. Keep that round edge up on the burst fade. And with your lineup, it's just gonna make everything pop, man. Like, fade is nothing without a lineup, man. You never know what your fade looks like till you put a line on it. There we go. Alright, we move on to the next side. Again, picking it out. Got the number 2 on. And I'm going to just speed through this because you guys already know the steps. Same thing as the other side. Same thing. Pay attention to that range of motion, right? Like, I'm following through with the head because I'm trying to blend into the top. So as if there was an imaginary extension of his head, that's what I'm following. Alright, here we go. Brush it down. Send our first guideline, bottom of the box. Getting that, you know, semicircle look going on for the burst. Alright, now we got the guard open, no guard open. We center our second guideline, about 1/2 inch up with the full blade, not the corners. And you see that line right there, right? In between the close and open. Take that out, go on lever play. I'm using my corners. You see how only about 30% of my clipper is on his head? That's using the corners. And I'm constantly, my thumb's constantly shifting the lever. And I'm just playing with it, man. I'm cutting how I feel, and I'm doing whatever it takes to get that line out, but not go past my half guideline. Alright, moving on to the one guard. Lighten up that base. Same thing, we're going lever play, open, middle, close, and we're fading down. Alright, now we got the 0 guard on. Same thing, we're going at it with the lever play. Open, middle, close. And you can start to see the fade is starting to, you know, starting to come together. And then we got no guard on, and we're just cleaning up the last lines that are in there. Alright, so now I got the number 1 guard on. We go through the motions with this one too, open, middle, close, until you're happy with what you got. You just don't want to take too much at first because you can't put hair back on his head. So what this does is it lays the hairs down and helps you blend it into the top of his head. And we're going at it against the grain just to blend that line out that we left. Starting to come together. Alright, so we got one more line, and that is to finish fading to the top of his head. I comb it out and we start free-handed. But you see, I'm prioritizing that shape. I'm not going too into his head. I'm keeping it fresh. Alright, we come back in with the liners, and let's finish off the other side of his head. Match it up, get him nice. You can really see that everything just coming together, popping out when that line gets put in. Look at that. Now I'm just, while I got the trimmers in my hand, I'm just freehanding whatever I see. Alright, so to prep the hairline, I take, for my specific client here, the 0 open. And we lay the front hairs down. This gives him an actual hairline that we can line up. It's a lot easier than trying to get a sharp line out of long, bulky hair. kind of tapering up the hairline. So now it's got that little taper look, and you obviously can tell that it's a lot easier to cut or line up shorter hair than it is long. So I just put some hairspray on his head to hold those hairs down, and I'm blow drying it down. Alright, so now we got this mess of a canvas to work with. So when lining up or when doing any kind of design work, because basically a lineup is kind of like a design work, you're trying to get that boxy look. You want to, number one, especially with the hairline, keep everything like as natural as possible. You want his haircut to last, and if you push a hairline back, it will grow back within 3, 4, whatever days, right? So it's not gonna look fresh again, and you want him to stay fresh for a while, get them compliments so he can come back to you, right? So we're lining up nice and natural, nice and sharp, and generally when I do my first lineup, I always come back to the lineup. The lineup is something I always double, triple check, you know, come back, line it up, make sure I got the freshest, sharpest, naturalist line in there as possible. So you're gonna see me jump a lot back to the lineup. But yeah, we putting that line in, and you always wanna, oh yeah, like I was saying, you always want to be able to picture what you're about to create before you create it, right? Otherwise you got no direction and you're just gonna start pushing homie's hairline back, and that's not a good thing. Getting them boxes right, matching up them corners. You know, that's everybody's favorite part, right? Alright, we got some freehand action right here. And we're just trying to maintain that shape and get all those flyaways off the sides of his head. Alright, got the shears on, and we are just taking off all those little hairs sticking out, and you can see how much of a difference that makes already. And as you can see, coming back to that lineup, you know, making sure I got every single hair cut, because that's what it takes to get that crazy sharp lineup that everybody wants and looks for. The lineup is probably, I don't know, it's a huge debate, but for me, the lineup is the first thing I notice in a haircut. If it's sharp, that haircut's money. Look at that. Look at that. Somebody look at this. Look at this. See this right here? This is why I cut hair, man. Get my guy right, get my guy feeling right, and he ready to take on his week. Alright, so now we got the straight blade on him. You probably heard this 100 times if you've been watching barber tutorials, but the other hand, we stretch the skin, and the blade hand, we go slide the blade against the grain. I'm dry shaving here. I used to do wet shaves when I first started out, like 4 years ago. That I kept slipping and I kept cutting the person, so dry shave helped me fix that problem, and it's a lot sharper anyways. Here we are, finish out with some hairspray, and we got the before footage. Got my homie blurred up, ready for the bitches. Just kidding, he ain't got no bitches. Hey, Kat, hope you're watching this. Thank you for being my model. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on the gram. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for rocking with me. Blurry out. But that's my blurry.